Barefoot Gaming has covered a bunch of different racing wheels, from Logitech and Thrustmaster, but we recently had the opportunity to test out the PXN V9 Gaming Racing Wheel, and, well, it's review time. The V9 is in an interesting space as far as racing wheels go. It seems like the pricing of the Logitech and the Thrustmaster wheels keep going up, and it looks like PXN is aiming directly at the entry-level-ish range. Now I say ish as price point is clearly not the only thing that they're aiming for. You see, the V9 is at a crossroads. It does not offer force feedback, but they decided to include a very similar rumble feature that the more expensive Logitech G923 has, where you can feel vibration throughout the wheel when you hit bumps or when you go off the road in a bunch of different games. Without taking it apart, it feels like there is some kind of bungee system that pulls the wheel to center at any given point. Now, it doesn't fool your brain into thinking that it's force feedback, but it's infinitely better than wheels that don't have that ability. What I found very interesting is this is the only wheel I myself have seen that is not just built for a PC, but is compatible with the Xbox, PlayStation, and the Nintendo Switch. That's badonkers. Now I did all of my testing on PC as that's where all my racing games are located, and I plugged this into the USB port and everything installed on its own. However, if you want to tweak your settings, for example, like steering sensitivity or vibration or a host of other mapping or config options, you need to download their V9 Tools app on your phone. Now I know this sounds weird, but it actually worked much better than I had expected, as it asks to use your Bluetooth settings and pairs to the wheel really easily. Before going through the pros and cons, I should also mention that the V9 comes with a 3-pedal setup. So gas, clutch, and brake, as well as a 6-speed manual 8 shifter with reverse, also available by pushing down on the shifter when you drop it into reverse. And of course it has the paddles for shifting as well. So let's start with the pros, as that is always the more fun part of the review. Opening the box, I found there was some weight to the wheel, and although the housing is plastic, the wheel itself is covered in some kind of rubber where your hands sit on the sides. And it features a bunch of buttons, including your directional arrows, which makes getting around in games much easier than switching back and forth from a keyboard or a gamepad. Although interestingly enough, it has a USB port on the back for plugging in a wired USB gamepad, as well as a headphone jack that sit directly beside the ports for the pedals and for the shifter. Now the headphone jack only works on the Xbox, I believe, but it still got it. The V9 also has a switch between 900 degrees and, get this, 270 degrees. The shifter housing itself is plastic, but the rod that runs into the shifter, the part that has all the tension on it, is metal. The shifter also comes with 2 switches on the top. One to switch between high and low gears, and the second one which turns the shifter into a handbrake mode for all of your drifting pleasure. Both the wheel and the shifter come with clamps, so you can lock them down to your table, or maybe coffee table if you're on console. But if you're not using the clamps for the wheel, there are suction cups on the underside to prevent it from skidding all over the place. The pedals housing is again made of plastic, but the parts your feet actually touch on the pedals are metal. And it's got this flip out option that can either make the base larger for your feet or flips underneath to give it a smaller footprint. Plus remember, this does come with a clutch pedal, which most entry-level wheels do not include. As I mentioned before, one of the pros is the rumble effect you get when your car loses traction or you hit the shoulder, or you're off-roading, assuming the game supports the feature, of course. But that brings me to the con section of this review. The lack of force feedback does have to be mentioned as a con. Since this is a $200+ wheel, I very much wish we could have traded the rumbles for some force feedback on the wheel itself. The next con is in regards to the pedals. Having talked to PXN on this, they did say they have an A3 pedal set that does offer resistance and is compatible with the V9. But the pedals that come with the V9 offer no resistance. The clutch, accelerator, and brake all have the exact same tension, which in this case is, well, it's none. I should also mention that although the wheel comes with clamps for mounting, it does not come with hard mount points if you have a racing rig. Now, honestly, at this price range, that's not really much of a criticism, but it is something that I should mention. Also, aesthetically, the clamps on the shifter is fine, but the ones that come with the wheel, they're a little on the ugly side when they're sitting on your desk. For a minor issue, the buttons feel okay. They are not up to the standards you'd feel on an Xbox or a PlayStation controller, but they feel all right. The paddle shifters behind the wheel feel a little on the flimsy side, but in the couple weeks I've been testing this, they have shown no signs of wear, so I don't know. I guess they're fine, but they feel a little flimsy. My last con is a weird one and took me a bit to figure out. You see, the angle of the wheel itself is different than any of the wheels I have ever used, as in, it's angled higher up. I mean, it's not like a bus wheel, but mounted to my desk, it felt wrong and uncomfortable in my hands based on the angle alone because my elbows had to be higher. The thing is, if you're to use this on your coffee table in your living room where you'd be sitting above it, that makes a lot of sense, but sitting directly behind it at my computer desk, the change in angle frustrated me to the point of trying to figure out what I could stick under the back to fix it. And I could stick something under the back to fix it a little bit, but it made clamping a little more difficult. Is this a good deal? Should you buy this entry-level wheel? Well, there is no question it does some things better than some of the other players, but it also falls short in other areas. The Thrustmaster T150 is more money, but it's missing the H-pattern shifter and it's missing a clutch pedal. But the T150 has full force feedback. The Logitech G923 and the Thrustmaster T248 are double the price. And I mean, if price is no object, really you could be looking at a Moza or a Fanatic. Like realistically, for most of us, price does come into play. And depending on that budget, this might fall in line with what you need. All I can do is tell you what I like and what I don't like about it. And based on what's important to you, hopefully this will help you decide if this is the right fit. That, my friends, is the review for the PXN V9. If you have any questions on things I either didn't cover or didn't think of, please let me know in the comments and I will do my very best to get back to you as quickly as I can. As always, it helps if you like the video to press the like and subscribe if you want to see more from us. Thank you so much for watching another Barefoot Gaming review, and I will talk to you again really soon as we've got lots more honest reviews coming. See ya.